Resident Evil 5 is the fifth installment of the Resident Evil survival horror games series. The gameplay I give a 9 out of 10. Lots of shoot 'em up action. You control Chris Redfield and you get a computer-controlled helper named Shiva. At first, the game seems really hard to get used to. Unlike other Resident Evil games, you have zero time to change weapons and use items such as green herbs. This game is quite intense to play, but very fun. However, since Resident Evil 4, the style of gameplay shifted from survival horror to a simple first-person shooter, not so much a third-person horror game anymore. Resident Evil Code Veronica was the last of the horror puzzle style of gameplay, and Outbreak too. Resident Evil 5 is also completely linear, unlike older Resident Evil games. And even Resident Evil 4, making it into an old-school shooting game almost completely. Remember, it's completely linear. You just keep going straight. You don't go back. The plot I give a 7.5 out of 10. What can I say? It's Resident Evil. In games like this that rely almost completely on gameplay, I don't really care about the story too much. It's kind of cheesy, but kind of interesting at the same time. Albert Wesker is the main villain in the game again, attempting to retrieve the Ouroboros virus. The story is good enough for a shooter. The music I also give a 7.5 out of 10. I don't even pay attention to or remember the music, but that's okay because it's a shooter and it's fast-paced. However, the older Resident Evil games had more noticeable music and were a little better, more scarier, easier to remember. The graphics I give a 9.5 out of 10. Excellent PS3 graphics and extremely realistic looking. Chris looks somewhat overly macho than he did in the older Resident Evil games, though. Overall, I give this game a B, 8.3 out of 10. The great action and gameplay keeps you hooked, but it's also different than older Resident Evil games at the same time. It's not a very unique or interesting plot or music, though, but it feels like you can just brush it aside and just focus on killing zombies. Great graphics and very realistic looking graphics.